And welcome back to What If. Pre-recorded on Monday for Tuesday. I was just weighing my schedule working to that this week. I'm not going to be able to really do a lot of them the day of. So the shorter videos I can definitely do the day of, but pre-recording the longer videos. And this one comes to us, I'll admit, when I wrote it down, I didn't write it correctly, and I can't find the person's name. It was Sunwarden, something along those lines. Now, you asked the question, what if Godzilla was in the Avatar universe? Now, I do assume you mean Avatar: The Last Airbender, not Avatar, the James Cameron film. If you did mean the other, just let me know. I'll do a video on that one as well. But we're looking at Avatar: Last Airbender, and I actually, because I know someone else had tried to suggest something similar, but I couldn't find it. But I remembered it wasn't exactly the same because that one was dealing with Godzilla, Ghidorah, Mothra, them, all like a group of the Titans, not just Godzilla. This particular one is just focusing on Godzilla. Also, you'll notice in the thumbnail and in the picture right here, it's the legendary MonsterVerse Godzilla. That's the Godzilla we'll use for this one. He seems to be the one that fits best with throwing into other universes, as he's the kind of the most, what's the best way for me to put this? Scientifically, that was the word I was looking for, scientifically plausible of the other Godzillas, whereas the other Godzillas were generally products of radiation, mutations, whatever. Godzilla isn't a mutation. Godzilla is a species that has existed for millions upon millions of years. He's just, as far as we know, the last of his kind. Same with a lot of the kaiju. So we are looking at what if the legendary Godzilla were in the Avatar universe. And there's two ways we're going to look at this. The way that I feel is the most realistic way, and then the funner way. So if we really look at what if Godzilla were in the Avatar universe from in my opinion, the realistic way, hate to disappoint you, Godzilla's not doing much in this universe. First and foremost, the Avatar universe is populated with a wide variety of animals. Some just regular, like there are just birds in this universe. There are just rats. There are just mice, rodents. But it's a lot of weird hybrid creatures too. Platypus bears, the little octopuses. The Unagi is just its own thing. There are a lot of creatures in the Avatarverse, but Godzilla is kind of in a league of his own when it comes to just sheer size. Besides, in fact, let me get up the Unagi's size right now. Avatar, Last Airbender. 1 second. Darn it! Stop it. Avatar: Last Airbender. There we go. Airbender Unagi. Not Onji. Come on. Unagi. Was it? Yeah, okay, Unagi. Sorry, it was with a U. So the Unagi. So the Unagi, roughly speaking, size-wise, do they give a size for the Unagi? The Unagi is really like the Unagi is big. It's not necessarily a kaiju sized monster per se, at least in terms of how we see the kaiju presented in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Monsterverse, all that. But it is very large. It's a purely aquatic. In terms of size, though, they don't give a size on the Unagi. Hey, wouldn't you know, Unagi is just eel. Unagi. Yeah, they don't give they don't give a size for the Unagi. Now, in terms of how big we can maybe it looks around a couple 100 feet long. It looks at least two, maybe 2.5, verging on 300 feet long, but without really seeing its full size, it's impossible to say or having an actual number on it. So that means against Godzilla from the Legendary universe, the Legendary Godzilla is, roughly speaking, Legendary Godzilla's size, if I'm not mistaken, he's almost 400 feet tall, if I'm not forgetting. Legendary Godzilla. Godzilla. Height. There we go. 1.2 355 feet long. I don't think the Unagi is quite that long, and even if it was, Godzilla is huge. It's his density. He's 99,000 tons. 90 metric tons, 99,000 or 90,000 metric tons, 99,000 short tons. 1,000 short tons. Like he is huge, thick, powerful, and dense. So even though the Yanagi might in fact be possibly rival him in like length size, there's no way the Yanagi has the actual physical power to match Godzilla when you factor in Godzilla's sheer brutality, force, strength, and radioactive nature and his atomic breath. The only creature that might rival him or even surpass him, let's see, hold on, lion turtle. That's what it was, lion turtle, Avatar. Lion. So it would be the lion turtle from I think it was the second to last episode in the arc. He was so big he came off. It looked like he was an island. Unfortunately, his actual size is completely unknown, but it does appear to be big enough to be confused for an island. But you could also make the argument that Godzilla is also big enough to be confused for an island. He might be the only thing that Godzilla, who is a very territorial creature, would consider a threat to him. But as far as we know, there's only one lion turtle left. And it was that one guy. And I call him guy because it's like, yeah, one guy. Size. Let me see if I can find. Okay, yeah, lion turtle size. We have that at call right now. Lion turtles are so enormous that their hearts can weigh over 120 tons. Okay, so yes, the lion turtle is much larger than Godzilla is. Their hearts alone can weigh 120 tons. This thing's heart alone is heavier than Godzilla is. So the lion turtle is the one thing in the Avatar universe, take out like spirits and stuff like that, that is larger than Godzilla, that poses a threat to Godzilla. However, the Avatar universe and ocean particularly is so vast, and as long as the lion turtle stays out of Godzilla's territory, Godzilla has no real interest on taking on the lion turtle. As long as they keep to themselves, they're not real. They really have no interest in clashing with each other, because we're not talking about whether or not Godzilla is just plopped into the universe. We're talking about what if Godzilla was in the Avatar universe, which makes him a natural being to exist in this universe. He just happens to be the Godzilla from the movie. It's just he exists within this universe and he's a part of that ecosystem. So the lion turtle would actually then know about Godzilla, because the lion turtle is ancient. We actually don't know how old Godzilla actually is. We can infer that he is millions of years old because he went into hibernation. We don't know how old Godzilla really is. So you might get a moment where the lion turtle does, because Godzilla hibernates a lot of the time. So there could be moments where the myth of Godzilla goes into myth just like the lion turtle. Maybe at one point in the library they read in the book, they find not just the lion turtle in the book, but they find Godzilla in the book. And maybe there was a clash at one point between the lion turtle and Godzilla. Now Godzilla unfortunately now loses that fight on sheer grounds of size alone. Although you could make an argument that Godzilla actually does have the sheer energy power to take off the lion turtle because of his radioactive nature. You could make that argument. For what it's worth, I say that the Godzilla, at least in physicality, loses the fight to the lion turtle on sheer size alone. That said, Godzilla, probably because of his actual abilities and ferocity compared to the lion turtle, and because even though the lion turtle can bend energy and chakra, that doesn't work with Godzilla. He'd have to figure out a way to touch Godzilla's head and heart, and Godzilla just stands still like that. B, Godzilla isn't bending his chakra or chi or anything like that. He's simply drawing on his natural radioactive properties and the radiation around him. So yeah, that doesn't work that way. So the lion turtle. So I may actually have to take that back slightly. The lion turtle would actually be at a disadvantage in an overall fight because he's not fast moving. And Godzilla is a lot more brutal in his nature than he is. So, and again, radioactive breath, all that. But again, that's how Godzilla kind of works in the ecosystem. How would Godzilla play out in the actual story of Avatar? Well, assuming that he's not being bothered at all, and wherever he makes his home, my money would be somewhere kind of between the North Pole and like the Fire and the Earth Nation, or near. Actually, no, I take that back. It would probably be near like the islands that make up the Air Nation, because the air nomads got wiped out. No one goes there anymore. So Godzilla's never hasn't been bothered by people for eons. Well, a century, give or take. But for even then, the air nomads probably knew of Godzilla. Like, he may have shown up every now and then off the coast nearby, or when they were flying around, they saw him. They gave him his distance because they could tell he was powerful and they could not take him on. Like, no single bender outside of maybe the Avatar could probably take on Godzilla. Even the Fire Lord with Sozin's Comet would really just be a chump compared to Godzilla. Save for maybe a bolt of lightning, and even then, Godzilla could probably just tank that without too much difficulty. But no, because of their peaceful ways, they would just respect Godzilla and keep a distance. Godzilla is smart enough to view humans not always as a threat or anything like that. We're kind of like ants to him. We're in the yard. We're not bothering him. So he leaves us alone. We leave him alone. It's when we start to, tread on his feet, he steps on us. So, yeah, that's kind of how I think it would play out, is that Godzilla really wouldn't be playing any part in the actual storyline really at all. Although you could make an argument once the air nomad, once Aang and the gang in season 3 are attacked by Azula in the airship and the big explosions and stuff are happening, you could make an argument that kind of disturbs Godzilla a little bit, and he kind of comes back up to the surface and investigates what's going on. But Godzilla really doesn't have any stake in humanity. He doesn't care. It's about Godzilla is just basically an apex predator whose presence is made to be there in case of a disturbance and the balance is shifted between like all the kaiju in the world, or in this case, any of those super big, tough monsters of the world, which again really only come down to the lion turtle, the unagi. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that is like a really large animal that could even be close to rivaling them. And I'm drawing a real blank. The elephant koi, but they're not a threat of any kind. They don't seem to be food. There really isn't any other animals in the Avatar universe that are that kind of size. Because it really is portrayed a lot more realistic, like basically normal Earth. So yeah, an alternate Earth, I guess you could say, like different evolutionary paths. But yeah, so Godzilla really just is kind of spending his time being bored most of the time. Now, Godzilla's interaction maybe with the spirit world might be interesting, because again, Godzilla would be even if Godzilla always existed in the Avatar world, he would be a unique entity in that world. Because of his radioactive nature and all that, he would be very different even from the lion turtle, who is very spiritual as the lion turtle. So it's very possible like the spirits maybe communicate with him at points. Because then maybe they use him as a conduit or something like that. Maybe even the past avatars can communicate with Godzilla. That I think would actually be a really cool concept, that Godzilla is brought back into the fold to help protect the world, not because he wants to, because he's asked to by so many of the spirits that have existed for so long. And he's able to commune on some level with the spirits that other beings are not, because he's just such a unique creature with a much higher level of intelligence than I think most people give him credit for, and therefore like capable of actual like problem solving, reasoning, deduction, a little bit of empathy, sympathy. He's capable of. Again, he's still first and foremost, he is still a large monster. He's a kaiju, but he is capable of a lot more than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Even in the legendary universe, especially in the legendary universe, we see him first time, I loved King of the Monsters. It's got its problems, but I love it. When he comes back up from the water after they basically recharged him, he looks directly at the sub, just looks at them and just examines the people, and they're just like, and Gary Chandler, not Gary Chandler, Chandler, I can't remember his first name, but he's looking at, and he kind of just looks at Godzilla, and Godzilla's just like, yeah, okay, and he just goes off and goes to take on King Ghidorah. So Godzilla is very much aware and in tune to certain things in nature, and because the world of Avatar deals with spirits would be one thing that he would be in tune with. So there's two ways to look at that. There's two ways to look at like the Avatar stuff like that of the past, or the spirits communing with Godzilla to ask for help. Like Godzilla himself could probably end the war with the Fire Nation in an instant, but he just doesn't, because that's not ultimately his job. And like the spirits know that. However, I think when Aang would come back is like when Aang really starts communicates with Avatar Roku. It's when the past avatars maybe start to communicate. Is when they start to communicate with. Sorry, I got distracted by an episode on a show on TV. They start to communicate with Godzilla. Now, if they're like in Godzilla's head, does he actually like talk to them? Like if they're having conversation, Godzilla, it's time to quit your slumber, or your slumber must come to an end. The world needs it. The new Avatar needs you. And then Godzilla actually says, "Why should I help him?" Like, does he actually communicate with them like that? Like, he can't, obviously Godzilla can't talk, but I would actually argue, yeah, if the spirits are communicating with him on some level, he's clearly able to communicate back. And I think Godzilla at first would be hesitant to be like, it's like, no. It's like, the Avatar has returned. Good for him. He can do it. He's the Avatar. He can bring peace to the world. We didn't. That's because you sucked. Like and I would imagine that. No, I like. Of the four of you guys who came prior to this new guy, I liked you a decent amount, Roku. Kyoshi, you're an ass, but you at least did what you had to, because he's an alpha predator. So he any rare rivals that come to him, he took them out. Like, I'm sure there's more than one Unagi, obviously. So he's probably battled an Unagi once or twice. He's probably even duked it out with a lion turtle once before. You would really condemn humanity. You would really condemn humanity to the atrocities that the Fire Nation is doing to humanity is not my business. I only keep the balance. Otherwise, I have no real intent of getting involved in your affairs. And then I can't. Oh God, what was the name of the female Airbender avatar that he communicated with? Avatar. There was Avatar Roku, Avatar Kyoshi. Then there was the water one, whose name I can't remember. Avatar, and then there was the woman. I can't remember that one. I can't remember her name. But then she would come and say, "You didn't always dislike people." Godzilla actually would stir him. Not like just like, but more like he's kind of just relaxing and laying down. Just all of a sudden she appears like, Avatar, insert name here. It's like you didn't always have. He actually looks at her like, I never hated humanity. In fact, I can actually say I liked you, Airbenders. You guys at least got it. You didn't try to overstep your bounds. You guys were able to live in balance with nature. I respected you for that. So you never disturbed my peace. I never disturbed your peace. You were good people. And then Roku said the new Avatar is also an Airbender. The last one there is, to which that does raise a little bit. That raised the Godzilla just. It's like it's like, you do realize if I really wanted to, I could single-handedly end this war. It's like, yes, but you won't. And Godzilla's like, you're right, because it's not my job, it's his. But if she ever needs help, you can tell him where to find me. And that would kind of be how Godzilla gets wrapped up into things. So eventually, the question is, how does Godzilla play a factor in, like, say, the final arc? I think now would Roku. The question I personally have is, where would Godzilla get involved in more than anything else? Would he get involved in the first like Black Sun fight, or like the Day of Black Sun, or would he get involved in the final fight? I think very much is that Godzilla gets involved in the Day of Black Sun fight, because the final fight actually doesn't make a lot of sense for the Godzilla to actually be involved in. Although he could easily take out a bunch of ships from the sky with his atomic breath, he could easily take out Navy ships, no problem whatsoever. So the question would be, but I think it's that this was the moment they had to really put it to the Fire Nation at that point. And I mean, but again, it's Aang's duty to really help protect the world. And they basically knew they needed all the help they could get. And and we know that Aang went on a spirit journey beforehand. So during that spirit journey, he's like, Aang, before you go, before you and your friends go to the Fire Nation, before you, before there is one that you can call on for help, who can call on to aid. It's like, well, who is he? Where can I find him? He is not a man, nor is he a beast. He is something far greater and older than possibly anything still living on this world. Go to the whatever air temple it was. I would say, because actually I'm trying to remember. Do we see all the air temples? We saw Aang's from the eastern. No, he's from the southern air temple. They go there's the western, northern, obviously western, northern. I believe they went to the western air temple to hide out after Day of Black Sun, and the people who are living in the air temple are from the living in the northern air temple. So the only one I actually don't see, I think, is the eastern one. No, that's where the Guru was. I'd say that Godzilla probably was. I'll just throw a random one out there. Eastern Air Temple. Anyway, he goes and is like, well, where is this guy? I mean, where is he? Avatar Roku said they'd be able to find him here. And then, hello, just like, oh man, I don't know. And Godzilla's like, huh? I was like, all of a sudden, so they're like hovering. It's like, he's a creature of some kind, but who exactly? I mean, what exactly is it? Hell, and Aang kind of goes underwater, and he can kind of. I mean, it's obviously it'd be deep water for Godzilla to just be living down there, but he can't go too far down, obviously. But he kind of can see something down there. There's like a mild glow, and Aang, using his airbending and waterbending combined, kind of just goes, hello, and there's kind of like an echolocation, which kind of like Godzilla just. And and Godzilla, again, being in tune with the spirit world as he would be in this version of this world, be like, so he finally showed up. And all of a sudden, Aang suddenly sees something huge moving. Just, whoa. And he's like, up, go, up. And all of a sudden, just like a whirlpool emerges, just like it did. And the Godzilla's just... Now, obviously, again, Godzilla can't talk. But it was like, whoa, you're the one Avatar Roku mentioned. Now Godzilla can, assuming he can hear Aang in that tiny voice, like you're the one Avatar Roku mentioned, the one who can help if we needed it. And Godzilla just looks at him like, it's just looking at it like, so this is the new Avatar? He's like, just a kid. How the hell did he manage to survive this long? And all of a sudden, Aang kind of does, again, because Godzilla's there, it does activate a bit of a spirit thing. And basically, in the spirit world, Godzilla and Roku and Aang are communicating. This is God, and Roku's just there. It's like, well, who are you? And it's like, would you want me to introduce you, or would you like to do that? Roku? It's like, hello, Aang. It's like, I don't have a name. name. Your people, but your people named me Godzilla. It's like, how? What, who are you? What are I? And Aang's just kind of flabbergasted. Like, I mean, what are? He's not much of a talker, is he? To be fair, I don't think you've really shown yourself to people for many a year, old friend. Fair. It's like, what are you? It's like, that, I am what I've always been. And it's like, what have you always been? Me. It's like, Godzilla doesn't know what he is exactly. He just knows he's Godzilla. He's a being far older than possibly anything else on this planet. He has kind of existed and existed for eons, though he is the last. It's like, whoa! It's like, well, why? Wait, his power truly is unmatched. What? Wait, his power. Could you take out the nation, kid? And Godzilla, being prideful in his strength, even says, "Kid, I have enough power to take out every one of your nations as it stood at their heyday." It's like, what? Why don't you? Because that. And then Godzilla actually gets down into Aang's face, like, oh, trying to dodge your responsibility, Avatar. My duty to this world is not to save it from the likes of you. My duty is to keep it the balance of nature, nature's balance. As an Airbender, I assumed you know that. Your people were much more in touch with nature than any of the other nations. It's why I gave them my respect and such. They gave me theirs. Are you trying to opt out of your responsibilities, boy? It's like, no. I am the Avatar. It is my job to defeat the Fire Lord and the Fire Nation. And as a Fire Nation, I accept that responsibility. Are you sure you can do what must be done? It's like, must be done. It's like, and just looks at him. It's like, and Aang just kind of steals the results. Like, I will do what I have to, no matter what it takes. And he sees the resolve. Like, there's still fear in you, boy, but there's resolve as well. Very well, you have my aid. And so they get Godzilla's aid. So when the day of Black Sun finally comes, they're heading in there. And, at first they're being, and they basically work out a game plan where Godzilla is really going to be there for their backup. Because their goal isn't to destroy the Fire Nation, which Godzilla would very much do. Their goal really is to just keep the Fire Nation at bay. Godzilla's there more as their escape plan than anything else. So when the time comes that, the plan fails, like, we need to back out right now. It's like, oh no, it's like, oh, this is terrible. They see the design. It's like, we got to get out of here. They destroyed the sub. I was like, we can get away on Appa. Not all of us. It's like, not all of us. There'll be a day. We'll have to surrender. And then Aang suddenly brings up, we don't have to surrender. We do have one more ace in the hole. And we do have one more ace in the hole to help us all escape. It's like, wait, what are you talking about? All of a sudden, the Fire Nation suddenly starts to rumble. And just, what is that? And all of a sudden, Godzilla just emerges from the bay. Just like, what is that? Even Azula and Ozai, who are probably getting words about it, it's like, there's a beast. I don't know what it is. A beast. What does it look like? It's like a giant dragon. The dragons are all extinct. We made sure of that. What is it? Azula. Let's just go. And then they go and they see, and even they're like, it can't be. It still lives. And they see, and Godzilla is now just wrecking shop on all these naval fleets, all the blimps in the air. Just he literally just roars, and the vibration alone just causes the blimps to shake and be like, ah! It's like, fire, and they're just throwing fire in his face, and he's just like, in his head, he's just like, oh, that's adorable. Let me show you how it's done. And he spoke to Aang. He promised Aang he would try not to take any lives. He aims for the blimp part of it itself, not the actual, carriage or chassis, whatever you call that part. So he basically just incinerates all the balloons, and they all go flying. It's like, what is that? He's our backup. So come, I mean, and they use some they steal some boats and an extra war balloon, and they get hightail it out of there. And Godzilla basically is wrecking shop. And even Azula is comes in into fighting, and obviously Zuko gets at it. And he throws lightning at Godzilla, which, admittedly, it's a little human throwing lightning, but it's still lightning. So Godzilla actually feels like that actually kind of tickled. Man, and Godzilla just kind of looks at Azula, and Azula's like, just starts throwing lightning at him. He's just like, okay, this is starting to get irritating. And he basically just looks at her and makes his mouth glow. But he made a promise to the Avatar, just, he's like, and Azula's just like, she's actually shaking in fear. And even Ozai is just like, what the hell? Holy crap. And then he just turns it off and just roars and just throws her back from the sheer monumental power of his throat and voice alone, of his roar. So he then finally goes back and retreats, and they gotta like, how the hell are we gonna fight that? Godzilla, though, wouldn't show up again, except maybe to aid Aang in the naval fight. A little bit near the end while Aang is fighting off the Fire Nation. But that's, or fighting the Fire Lord. But otherwise, Godzilla would not play a very large part in the Avatar universe. That's the more unrealistic version of it. Truth be told, Godzilla probably would not be involved in the affairs of man at all in this world. So, yeah, but that's a more fun version of what if Godzilla were involved. And I'd say there could be a scenario where where him and the Lion Turtle still meet up after all these years. Like Godzilla, because he'd be more in touch with the spirits, is probably no longer at odds with the Lion Turtle. Again, as far as we know, there's only one, and there's only one in Godzilla, and they don't. And if for what it's worth, the Lion Turtle's a pretty peaceful dude. So him and Godzilla, even if they're in the same area, they don't really fight. In fact, anything, they probably have a conversation I could see at the very end of the series where it's all said and done, like Aang and Katara have that kiss. We cut to the Lion Turtle and Godzilla actually just having a conversation with each other. And just communicated out and say, "It's been a long time, old friends. It seemed to you. You're looking about as large in charge as ever. Yeah, and you put on some pounds. Is that a flat? Yeah, oh, shut up, you overgrown lizard. Make me you cat turtle." I was like, if you could. And they kind of just share a laugh. It's like, so I heard you help the Avatar out. And I heard you did the same. I could see something like that kind of taking place where they kind of just, catching up after all these years. That would actually be a really cool ending, I think. But anyway, that's my thought. It was a longer video than I intended, but I still wanted to make it a one-shot. What if Godzilla were in the Avatar universe? But let me know what you think about this. Did you like it? Did you think I kind of went off bases a little bit? Just give me your thoughts. Till then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I still got Lantern Corps video to do today, but I'll save it for when I actually get home from work. It's because my Lantern Corps videos are never that long. Ooh, I got hiccups. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Ideas for who would win Star Wars, Superman, Magic, What If, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. And hit that bell for notifications. Until then, thanks for watching. See you later.